So I was talking with some of my mom friends, and we were just kind of having a discussion as far as the inundation of emails we get around the Christmas season, especially when you have kids in school. And I'm going to be kind of sharing how I handle them, but I would love to hear, if you found different ways to kind of navigating all of the last minute decisions and what do you decide to participate in, what do you not decide to participate in, and how do you still, be fair to your kids and give them those experiences, especially when they can feel left out when it comes to like their peers, also like having opportunities or participating in certain things that they may not be participating in. So the first thing, and the one that I'm going to be working on while we chat, is that my kindergartner, their class is doing a book gift exchange. And I did appreciate that the teacher had said, like, bring a book, any book, make sure it's gender neutral, and the plan is for it to come to class wrapped, and then it will have like a from your student's name on it, and then they'll go up kind of one by one and just like pick out a gift, and then everyone will go home with a new book to them. So instead of running out and buying a completely brand new book, which I was tempted to do, but I was like, you know what, we have plenty of books on our bookshelf. And I also wanted to get my kindergartner involved in this activity since it's going to be going to his classmates. So I had him go and pick out like 6 books, and because I told him, I was like, whatever book you pick out, one of your classmates is going to pick and they're going to keep it. And so it was so cute. He brought back his stack of books and he was telling me this book goes to whatever his classmate's name. And like he picked out very specific books for each of his classmates. And I thought that was so sweet. But out of all of the ones that he picked, this one was by far the most gender neutral, the one that we had. So Goldilocks and the Three Bears, we've really enjoyed reading this book. I did feature it in like one of my other conversations of like books for your, I think like newborn to 5-year-olds, but I mean, aren't the pictures just gorgeous? So anyway, this is the book that's going to his classroom. And then this is the wrapping paper I had to wrap it in from last year. I really like these little red trucks, but I think I should kind of go towards something more gender neutral, like the teacher suggested. So what do you think? Like snowmen or candy canes? I think I'm going to choose snowmen because that seems a little bit more whimsical for kindergartners. And one thing I did appreciate in the email is that his kindergartner teacher had said, like, if you're having trouble, finding a book for the, classroom gift exchange, then let me know. So I have a feeling she probably has some gently used books there to help out some of those other families. So I loved that. So that was the first one. Now, thankfully, we did get notice on the book exchange. I think it was last week, so I did have at least one weekend to run out and buy a book if I wanted to purchase something. But the other things that we have kind of going on in my kids' school is they're all each class is participating in, what is this called? They were sent home like an envelope. I don't know, do all schools do this? Like, let me know if your kids participate in something like this. But it's called Santa's Secret Shop, and you're supposed to put money in the envelope, and they're supposed to determine like what their budget is, and then whom they're buying for, and then their teachers or whoever is helping them kind of shop will help them budget for their gift list. And so the whole point is, of course, like teaching your kids about finance and budgeting and giving. But this is my thing that I have a little bit of a problem as a parent, just like giving our like parent money to our kids to then purchase a gift for someone else. And not that I see anything wrong with that, because we actually participated in like a local angel tree for our area, which we'll talk about in a different conversation. So I actually really love that, but that was like, I felt like to me, it feels different when we as a family go out and say, okay, we're going to choose to gift something to another family, whereas this is like, oh yeah, just take our money and then use it to buy gifts for someone else, which I know is the same thing. So I don't know why I'm struggling with this concept. So what my husband and I decided to do, because I did ask him, I was like, do you want us to give them a couple of bucks to, participate in this? And he was like, it's not really my preference. Because the other thing is that the teachers did notify us separately that they were like, hey, the gifts typically range from like 50 cents and then are up to $5. So like, if I look at the people on the list, like that's a really long list. So, I mean, it can add up fairly quickly if you think about but then like, what will they be buying for like 50 cents? Like probably nothing super unique or novel or like, worthwhile. So what I decided to do is my Cowboys have been recently getting like allowance. And I hate to use that word because it's not just like, oh, you get this automatically. Like they do have to earn it. And if you're interested in that conversation, how we've implemented it for them, like, let me know. But so I told them, I was like, hey, tomorrow your classes are going to be, doing Santa's gift shop. Do you want to participate? And I, had an age appropriate conversation with them to say like, this is, what it was. And I was like, okay, if you want to participate, then you have to use the money out. You have to use quarters. So they've each been saving up to purchase a watch. So they are very like motivated to save their quarters, and they're very disappointed when they lose their quarters because they can lose their quarters. So I told them, I was like, if you want to participate in this, then you have to use the quarters in your jar to participate. Otherwise, you'll probably see other kids in your class, go to and shop for gifts from the Santa's shopping workshop, and then they're going to purchase gifts for someone else. Like, is there someone that you want to buy a gift for? Like, do you want to buy a gift for a brother? Do you want to buy, I didn't really list off names because I kind of wanted to see if they were even willing to spend their money on that experience. So I didn't want to like tie it to, oh, you have to do this there to like demonstrate or show love to someone else. Although that is also a really good teaching moment. Maybe I missed an opportunity there. So, so both of them decided like, no, they didn't want to spend money at Santa's workshop. They would much rather save their quarters for their watch. And I was like, okay, that's fine. That's great. Like it relieves some like responsibility from us as parents to provide that experience just because everybody else is. And I think it also gives my son some autonomy to learn like, okay, everyone, like you get choice over the experiences that you have. And I'm hoping that as they grow, I mean, obviously they may not be aware of this from like this one situation, but I'm hoping that as they get older, they can kind of think back to these experiences to know that a lot of them is tied to money and a lot of it is related to your financial means. And it doesn't necessarily mean that one person is better off than someone else. It just means that you're making different choices in how you're using your finances and how you're choosing to like demonstrate love or appreciation to someone else. Like giving a gift doesn't always mean that you do or do not love someone or care for them. Just like, choosing not to participate in something doesn't mean that you don't have the financial means to participate in an activity. It just means that you're making a different choice in the finances that you have available to you. So I don't want to say that I was proud of them, but I was proud that they got the opportunity to make the choice and that they felt very confident in the choice that they made so quickly. Like it was almost like it wasn't even like a second guess to them. It was just like, oh, nope, this is what I want to do. So I was like, okay, well, tomorrow, when you see all of your other classmates go and do this, or a large majority of your classmates do this, like, just know that you chose not to participate, and that's okay, because you chose to, spend your money on a watch, or, for them saving up for a watch. So yeah, I'm hopeful that it goes over well. I think it will. They didn't seem very super hesitant about it. And then the other thing that kind of has come up, well, I guess there's two things, and I'll try and be kind of quick about it, is that with them in school, like, it seems like there's always like a new email that I'm getting of like, oh, like, we're doing a Christmas party, or, oh, we're making gingerbread houses, or, oh, we're going to be decorating cookies, and, everyone sign up for this one, sign up for a list of something for you to bring. And I've learned that as soon as the email notification comes in, because I'm at work while these emails go out typically. So as soon as the notification comes in and I see it, I sign up for something right away, because I want to be able to choose the best option that I'm able to say yes to without a huge inconvenience to everything else that I'm trying to manage and care for our family. So if I can prioritize that email right away, instead of just being like, oh, well, I'll look later, or, like, oh, I'll look at it when I'm making my shopping list or something, then it's definitely giving me the opportunity to look at it and say, like, what do I have already in my cupboard, or what do I have, in my pantry, or what supplies do they specifically need that I already have on hand that I could provide, without needing to add one more thing to my plate to say, like, oh, well, I can get that, but then I also have to, make a separate shopping trip, or I have to make sure I get it to school by a certain deadline. So that is one thing that has been super helpful, is if I can prioritize those much sooner, then it doesn't feel like I'm quite so urgently scrambling to be like, okay, well, the last thing that I have that hasn't been signed up for is 12 dozen white cupcakes. So I guess I'm going to be baking tonight, or I have to find a bakery and stop by a bakery before I head to work. So yeah. And then the last thing is that this is usually the time when all of them do like a dress up day for school. And when I was in high school, like, we did dress up days, like we had Spirit Week, and I remember it being so fun, and like it was like so exciting to be super creative, to be like, okay, how are we going to implement these, different themes into what we wear? And I remember me and my friends would get together and we would, make certain outfits and stuff like that. Well, as a parent, it's kind of just like, oh, why are we adding one more thing? Like, I kind of have this expectation in my mind that it's like, okay, well, if I was a stay-at-home mom, then of course, like, maybe I would love this. If I was in a different life, and like, I could be so crafty and put all of my focus on like making these elaborate like costumes, and get my kids involved, and it would be so fun. But as a working mom, I'm just to the point where, and I think I have heard some other moms like kind of share the same thought, so I'm curious if you agree, is that sometimes the emails with those notifications go out so late because they're not trying to add extra things to parents. Like, we just got ours last night, and there's one theme for the rest of like the 3 weeks for the rest of the month. So there's like 15 days of a different theme that they have to dress for. And so the thought, I guess, of sending out the email late is that it's because there's limited time that parents can prepare. The point is to not have something super elaborate, super way overdone, that it's just supposed to be like, oh, whatever you have on hand, or if you can participate, great, and if you can't, that's not a big deal. So I'm trying to take that approach. So what I did is I wrote down each of the items for each of the days on our calendar. And a lot of the items, like, we don't have, but I can kind of see how it's been portrayed, that it needs to be way over the top. It needs to be super elaborate. Like one of them was like, dress like a reindeer or wear red. Like there's almost like this default, like, or, if you don't do that, it's kind of like, well, if you choose the second option, then like you're not quite as like willing to participate, is sometimes how I have perceived it in the past. And me wanting to be a perfectionist, wanting to please everybody, I'm like, well, I have to do everything to the nines. Otherwise, like, what's the point? So I've definitely learned through this whole experience of being a mom that, like, it's okay, Brianna, like what we can participate in, we will participate in. What we can't participate in, like, that's fine. Like, not everything in my son's life will they be able to participate in once they become an adult, and giving them the option to choose and kind of seeing and experiencing the whole like reality of, like, it's okay to be without, and it's also okay to participate when you have the means to be able to participate. So, for example, tomorrow is flannel day, and I thought that they had each like a red flannel, and apparently I forgot that my eldest son, he actually grew out of his flannel shirt. So like my youngest son will go to school in red flannel, and my eldest son will just not be dressed in like the spirit theme that day. And that's okay. And like one day is like wear PJs. Another day is like dress green like the Grinch or Cindy Lou Who, or like Feliz Navidad, so wear a fleece sweater. So they do some things that are like super simple, but then they also have like very elaborate items in there too, like wear lights, tinsel, or a garland, or something, etc. Is what they added, like a tacky Christmas sweater. So if you have this expectation of you have to do everything, and everything you have to make sure your kid is involved in every activity. Like, I can't imagine how overwhelmed you would feel seeing this like dress up list for the next 3 weeks. So I just want to give you permission that it's okay not to participate in every single activity, and it's okay to teach our kids that it's okay not to do everything. Because I think that as parents, and especially for me as a mom, I could not handle them participating in everything, just like I can't handle participating in everything that's available to me either. Like, we have to make choices. We have to prioritize what's important to us. And sometimes what's important to us in this season is like, oh, let's not spend money, or let's not prioritize our time in like participating in this activity or prepping for this activity. So yeah, hopefully this gave you some ideas if you're kind of juggling some of the same things, but let me know your thoughts and we can continue this conversation in the comments. And if you would like to kind of hear a few of those other topics that I brought up, like how we're handling or like implementing allowances, not really allowance, then let me know in the comments so we can have those conversations later too.